Hello students, it is Monday and we're going to start with our reading lesson. So on our reading lesson we have a few things to do, and this is our first thing, and it is to read our Read Naturally story, and that's what these papers are, is our Read Naturally stories. Now if you look at the picture you can maybe guess what our story is going to be about, and if you can't quite guess we can look at our title. There's our title, and it says Crab. So this story is going to be about a crab, and it has all kinds of short A words in it to help us practice putting together words that have short A in them. So here's some of our key words. We have jab, jab. And land, at flat. So let's try to see if we can find these words in the story. Here we go. Go to an ocean. Look at the sand. You might see a crab. A crab is not fat. A crab is flat. It has a shell. It has 8 legs and 2 claws. Crabs jab at fish with their claws. Crabs can live in water. Crabs can live on land. All right, so I hope you like that short little story about crabs. It helps us learn more about them. We're going to read it again, but this time I want you to read along with me. Even though you're at home, I want you to help me read. So when I point to the word, let's say it together. Here we go. Go to an ocean. Look at the sand. You might see a crab. A crab is not fat. A crab is flat. It has a shell. It has 8 legs and 2 claws. Crabs jab at fish with their claws. Crabs can live in water. Crabs can live on land. All right, so let's look at where our key words are. So the key word was jab. There's jab. Crabs jab at fish with their claws. So what do you think the word jab means? To kind of poke? Yeah? All right, what about land? Did we see that in there? Crabs can live on land. So, on land, maybe on the beach, right next to the water in the ocean. And flat. So, it told us that the crab is not fat. A crab is flat. So, it helped us know what the shape of a crab is. All right, so this is our Read Naturally story, and I want you to keep practicing this at home so you can start working on being able to recognize words that are always in stories, like go and to and at and the. Those words are in a lot of different stories, so if you can remember what they look like, when you go read another story, then you're going to have an easier time reading. So let's move on to our journey story this week. So our journey story is in this book, and when you come back to school, you'll be able to read it in this book. But you also have it printed out on a paper for you. Let me try to find it. Here it is. So this is what it looks like. This is the part you have, and you'll always get this sent home with you even when we come back to school in person. You'll still get one of these every week because we want you reading it and practicing at home. Because what's going to happen at the end of the week is we'll ask you questions about the story and see how well you can remember it. There's also very important words on the back of the story. And these words are good for you to practice because they're in the story or they're in other things we're working on that week. So if you can read these words, it's going to help you with all of your work this week. So let's go ahead and start with these words, okay? And, be, help, play, with, you, man, mad, am, an, can, sad, Dan, dad, sad, Matt, Sam, cat, sat, at, tan, mat, and, sand, ant, cast. So if these words are hard for you to just read, you can sound them out because I know you know a lot of these letter sounds. So to sound out, you sound out each letter, d, a, d, and then you put it together. Dad, d, a, d, dad. That's very important for you to pull the sounds together so that we can make sense of what the word is. All right, so here is our story. Today, we're just going to do a picture walk. And a picture walk is where we look at the pictures in order to try to figure out what the story might be about. So, let's find our story. All right, here's our story. Now, without even reading the title, what do you think the story could be about? Look at the pictures. What do you think this could be about? Maybe being friends? We'll have to see. The title is What is a Pal? It is written and photographed by Nina Cruz. So she wrote the story and she took the pictures. Wow, she must be very talented. So one of the questions we want to think about is what is important about being a friend? So we're just going to walk through the book and look for the pictures and see what's going on. All right, so it looks like there's some watering of the flowers, and it looks like he might be playing with the water, and she's bringing a pail of water to help. What do you think they're doing? Could they be playing tag or playing some other outside game together? Do you think they might be friends? What about this picture here? It doesn't have two kids in there this time. It has a dog. Could he be friends with his dog? Could his dog be a pal? And look here, we have a little girl and maybe her dad with a alpaca or a llama or a sheep. Yeah, probably a sheep. So we have the little girl with her dad, and it looks like they're maybe at a petting zoo, and they are feeding it. Over here we have two friends, and it looks like they might be sharing a book. And these friends are scooting along on their scooters outside. What are these two doing? Climbing a tree? You think he's in the tree with them? It looks like the same tree. And that's the end of our story. So, remember, our title is called What is a Pal? So, if we look at the pictures, even without reading, it might show us what a pal is. And I think it might be another word for friend. So, it tells us what friends do, what pals do. It looks like they might help each other, play together. Maybe pals can be pets or even family. Maybe she's pals with the sheep. And then pals can be with you and help help learn to read together. And also, what I like about this picture is we do have two different types of children who are friends no matter what. So this little girl is in a wheelchair, and this little boy has legs that are able to be used. And so it doesn't matter to them. They're still friends, and I bet you that he's a really nice little boy, and he's a really great friend, and he can help her out when she can't reach something or do something. I bet you he helps her out because that's what pals do. Now these two boys, I bet you they are just having fun and playing around outside with those scooters. So at the end of this story, it shows these two pictures here. And remember, we're not reading it quite yet. We're just trying to guess what's going on or what the book's trying to show us. And maybe it's just showing us that a pal is just someone you can count on and be a friend with. So I hope you enjoyed this story. Tomorrow, we will actually be reading it together. You can go ahead and start getting a sneak peek into what the story might be about by trying to read this yourself. And then we'll start talking about some questions that we need to be able to answer after we read the story. So this is your reading lesson for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and goodbye.